We look at this. There are a lot of different ways to present your budget. You know, how you want to look at it and keep track of it. One way is to do an annual breakdown. And there are things that you don't have to pay for every single month. You know, we talked about like property taxes might be due semi-annually, so you'd only pay maybe January and June or something. So you can put marks on the months where you actually pay for things, or you can put the dollar amounts so that you know how much you're going to have to pay. The dollar amounts are nice because then if you total it down, you know how much you have to spend in each month. Whereas if you have checks, you don't really have a basis. You don't know how much it is. This is called a matrix, and a spreadsheet is an electronic matrix, and so you put this in Excel or something and keep track of it that way. The one with the checks is called a check-off matrix. It's reminders to remind you that you have to pay for stuff at that time. And then you have a dollar matrix, doesn't really have a name. And then we have the way you order the matrix, but we're not going to really worry about that. So other ways you can visualize where your money is going, you can do a pie chart, which shows you like this, how much of your money goes to each section. You can do line graphs, which depict changes in time. Bar graphs, budget line graph that compares two categories of expenses. Okay, so if we were going to do a checkoff matrix, we have mortgage monthly. So you're going to put a check every single month. You don't get to not pay your mortgage ever till it's done. Okay. Utilities, you have to pay those every month too. So you put a check on every month for that. Sanitation. Sanitation is like garbage and sewer, and that's quarterly. Quarterly happens 4 times a year, so it's every third month. So if we paid it in January, we wouldn't pay it again until April, wouldn't pay it again until July, wouldn't pay it again until October. Insurance, semi-annually, that's twice a year, so you'd pay it in January, say, and June. Wait, 1, 2, 3, yeah, June. July. January and July, not January and June, sorry. Yeah. Internet. Really? No. That's monthly. Everybody knows that. Is there anybody that doesn't have an internet bill that's due every month that they know of? So I'm just going to make it more realistic. It's monthly. Landline monthly. Cell phone monthly. Lawn and garden monthly, April through September only. So April through September, because you live up north and your yard is dead other than that. Okay. Snow removal, November, January, and March. Food, well, you have to eat. You don't get to skip that any month. Child care every other month beginning with February, so maybe you pay it 2 months at a time. And vet expenses semi-annually. Which months are the most expensive? January and July. So when you make this budget, like this kind of tells you, okay, since I've got a couple things that are semi-annual, maybe I shift vet over February, August. You know, because maybe there's things you can shift like that so that you can spread it out a little more evenly so that you don't have 2 months of the year that are just like crazy. That's kind of the benefit of something like this. Okay, pie charts. We can divide it into 6. We can divide it into however many we want to. These are radii, radiuses, radii. Okay, this blue part is the sector, and this part here is the angle, the central angle. The angle tells me how many degrees each part of my chart needs to take up. The whole thing is 360 degrees. So if I wanted to do 27%, I'm going to do 0.27 times 360 degrees, and that's going to be 97.2, so we'll just call it 97 degrees. So then when I was making my chart, I would measure out, see, here's 90, so 97 degrees, and I could call that 27%. Does that make sense? Okay. So if you're looking at a pie chart, I can make this a little bigger if I use the right tool. 40% to household, 25% to education, transportation to 15%, health 5, savings 10, miscellaneous 5. Now it cannot go above 100%. 100% is the vast, like the total amount of money you have. So if your expenses are like 120%, that doesn't work. You only have 100% to spend. So the percentage category, or the percentages, okay, so the percent determines the degree of your angles, which determines the size of your pie slice. Now let's say you guys don't all have protractors on you and you need to make a pie chart. You can eyeball them, like I kind of did. You take a circle. So let's do a circle. Okay. That's 50%. That's 25% each, right? So if I have a category that's 25%, that's cool, that's 25%. If I cut this in half exactly, that's 13.5%. So you can use the halves and the quarters. You know, if I go a little bit past 25%, so I can take this line out and go, you know, a little further than it and say that that's 30%. You know, you can eyeball them. They don't have to be exact, perfect angle measurements when you're creating your own pie chart. Okay, so if they have $800 per month, but we don't have the percentages, we can kind of figure it out on our own, though. This looks like about a quarter of it. So we can say maybe 25% on fuel. So about 200. So we took 200 out. So this whole thing right here is about 600 left. And if you come here, do you see how this kind of makes a half for this whole thing? So that would be 400. So that leaves 200 left for insurance and miscellaneous. And the insurance looks like it might be about twice the miscellaneous. So if I have $200, and if I break it into thirds, yeah, we could do 15 and 10%. That works. And 10% on miscellaneous. So 15%. Well, 10% is what, 80? Yeah, so that's about $120. That's about $80. Then we've got this other $400 over here. And I would say that's about 25% there, yeah? So I'm going to say that the train bus thing is about 40%. Not 40%, 30% is what I meant to say. So that's 240, not 320. And then this other bit here is train and parking, 20%. So train and parking is about 30%. So then the other 20% is car wash and repairs. So that's 160. And it's not exact, obviously. We don't have exact percentages. I'm just guessing based on like looking at the size of the pieces. It's not perfect, but I wouldn't expect it to be. As long as you didn't tell me that this part right here was 50%. You know, if you were in the 20 to 15 to 25 or so, 30 maybe. But not, you can't tell me that they spend $400 a month on fuel and $600 a month on insurance, and you know what I mean? As long as your pieces are about right, you're good. I'm going to make a bar graph. In order to make a bar graph, we first have to figure out how much money is our maximum per month. September. Yeah, it does look like September. So that's 1,100 right there. Well, we're going to have to do this anyway for every month. So that's 230. This is 120. 480. 440. 50. 590. 250. 440. 120. 30 and 540 plus 30 is 570 plus 300 is 80. I don't think I did that right. Oh, I did. 870. Okay, so yeah, September's the most expensive. Okay, we have our lowest is 30 and our highest is 1,100. So we need to determine a scale here. We could go by hundreds. So this first one is 100 and this last one is 1100. And then what I would recommend to do at that point is to go ahead and bring them all the way across, because that'll make your work easier later, or do it on graph paper. And if they were on graph paper, they'd actually be evenly spaced. Okay, then we need to put our months. So I have January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. January was 230, so here's 2, so 230 is just above 2. Yeah, pretty. February 120, so just above 100. March 480, so almost to 5. You get the idea, yeah? April 440, so just under March. May, June, July, August, September, October, November, and December. Question. All right, when you're making a budget, it's not just to track your bills, it's also to plan for the future. The idea between making a budget is to figure out where you can lower expenses so you can increase savings so that you can plan for trips or to buy things that you want to buy, a new house, new car, whatever. And when you do that, you're doing cash flow analysis. So you monitor your cash flow. Your cash flow is the money that comes in and the money that goes out, flowing. Okay. Lots of ways to do this. So if you're going to chart your monthly cash flow, you're going to create a spreadsheet a lot of times. You're going to have income, you're going to have fixed expenses, and you're going to have variable expenses. And then you're going to have a part for savings. Fixed expenses are nice. Those are the ones that you know this is going to be the exact same amount every month, and that's good. Variable expenses are the ones that'll get you. Okay. And then you have things that are called non-monthly expenses. That's like your semi-annual, quarterly bills. What you should do for your cash flow is go ahead and if you know you're going to pay $600 in June and another $600 in January or whatever, split that up and pay save $100 a month towards it, and then you can pay it. Property taxes, car registration, things like that. Okay, when you fill out your spreadsheet, the income comes on the top. So you'd have all your sources of income. So employment, so you'd have, job, second job, babysitting, whatever. Any kind of monthly income you get. Then you do your fixed expenses. These are the expenses that will be the same every month. You've got your rent, your car loan, if you have a personal loan, if you have a student loan, health insurance, life insurance, these don't change. Next goes into the variable expenses. Now the variable expenses do change. Electricity and water change because you use a different amount every month unless you're on budget billing. Food changes because you don't eat the same exact thing for the same exact price every single day of the month. Gas, cell phone, maybe changes. If you it depends. If you have a plan that has a set, like an unlimited plan, it's you could move this up to a fixed. Okay, I could draw in the box would be better. But if you have a plan where you get charged per minutes or something, it's that one is questionable. Anyway, these parts here, now your income may not be fixed either. If you're on salary, this will stay the same every month, but if you're hourly, this could change every month. These will stay the same every month. This might change, this might change. And then your non-monthly expenses, this is the per year. And then you can break it up to how much you need to put away per month. So your total expenses and then the cash flow. Total income minus total expenses gives you your cash flow, what's left. This can go to savings because you didn't spend it. Yeah.
So then all month expense, is this like all 1 month?
This is all 1 month for this particular example. And this will be different for every person. You may not have some of these things, these non-monthly, but you could, like, if you're putting away money for car repairs or something, that would be a non-monthly expense, but you could decide how much you wanted to put away per year and then break it up over the month.
So like for monthly non-monthly expenses, is that what you put away
for the whole year? Yeah. So if this was what you decided you needed to put away for non-monthly expenses, then you'd put away $1,000 a month for those things. But like I said, this is different for every person. This is just for this one example. I know for myself, I don't have a lot of these. And I don't, I'm here, I don't have either of those. I don't pay for those. Those are included. But I do pay for water. It depends what your budget needs. But this is, you have your income, you have your expenses, you subtract the fixed expenses, the variable expenses, and the non-monthly that you're putting aside. This is what you have left over. That's the amount that can go into savings. Now, if you want to increase this, you have to decrease something over here or increase your income. It's easier a lot of times to decrease a bill or something.
Do you know how you determine what other is?
That's just for your own whatever you need to put in there. So like, if I was making my budget spreadsheet, the reason this is on others for the examples because there might be other things that you need to add. So whatever other things there are, but for mine, I have this, I have that. I don't have this yet, but in 2 years I will. I don't have that. That comes out of my paycheck. I don't have that. That is in my mortgage, so I don't have that. I do have that. That very rarely, this is like $30. If this, I have that, I have this and that. There's none of that. I don't know what that is. My non-monthly expenses, currently I don't have this because my car is under warranty and everything, so I don't really have that. I have a brand new house. I don't do that. I'm not paying that yet. I don't go on those. I don't really have that because my taxes all come out of my paycheck. So, and I know my numbers, so I never owe money on taxes. So, like, I would leave a lot of this stuff out. But then there would be other things that I would put in because I have a credit card. So, so it varies. So it's very personal as to what you would or wouldn't put in.
For like the project, can we use something like
Yeah, you can use this as a basis. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Um, so if we look at this, okay, we're going to go back to their cash flow analysis without my changes. Um, the Consumer Credit Counseling Service suggests that transportation expenses should be 6 to 20% of your budget, and savings should be 5 to 9%. This was in 2007 when this book was written. It might have changed by now. But so we look at their transportation expenses. Car loan payment, car insurance, fuel, and auto related. Okay. So I have 200, 60, 160, and then 700 divided by 12 because that's for the whole year. So first I'm going to do that 700 and divide it by 12. So this is 58. I'm just going to round it to 58. So that's 478 a month. Okay. Their total income is 61,000. This says it should be between 61,000 or 6 to 20% of your budget. Well, my budget is 61,000, so I'm going to do that 478 and I'm going to divide it by 61,000. I said 61,000. It's 6,100. And it is 7.8% of the budget. So they're within their guidelines. Savings. If we come back and we go, okay, savings. Let's highlight it yellow. Savings. We could count this probably in with the savings if we want to, but we're not going to for this problem. I'm just going to count the 300 that they're doing. Divide that by the 6,100. And I get 4.9%. So they're just under. But if they added their cash flow in, which was 110, yeah, 110, that would give me 410. And I'd be good. I'd be at my target. The low end of the target, but still at target. This works is you make a spreadsheet where you have all of your categories down this side and then your months across the top, right? So my income for every month is here. My expenses for every month go here, and then I take this and I subtract all of this stuff, and then down at the bottom I could have a balance, like, I don't think, yeah. So then, like, leftovers could go down here. So everything, these are also really easy to put into Excel because what you do is you come in and you click that button that says sum, the little sum symbol. You guys know what the sum symbol looks like? Okay. The sum symbol is like that. So the sum. So I could come here at the very bottom, oops, and I could put in equals, or I could do the sum, and then I can come and I could click this square right here, so that's B5, and then I hit minus, and then I come in with my little X thing and I highlight all of that all the way down, and I keep highlighting all the way down, and then I click enter, and it would subtract all of that from my income and give me whatever my balance left over was. So that's kind of nice. It's fast that way.
And then you click enter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, then enter. And if you guys want me to show you how to do this stuff on a spreadsheet, I can take time to do that Monday. Like I'll pull up Excel and we can enter it and I can show you how to do it on the spreadsheet. But this is the one that I think is the most useful because on one page you have your whole year, you have all of your expenses like listed down, and then you have them in a column, so it's really easy to take that income amount and subtract everything else from it and know how much you have left. Okay. Net worth. This is important. Your net worth is the difference between what your assets are and your liabilities. So, which, you know, basically what you own minus your debt. You can have a negative net worth. If you owe more than you own, your net worth is negative. So assets would be all of these. So we can add those together really quickly. $22,500 plus $980 plus $24,800 plus $6,700 plus $18,300. Okay, so this person's assets, and then their liabilities, liabilities or debts. So the net worth is subtracted. So their net worth is $237,680. If your liabilities were greater than your assets, then your net worth would be negative. Okay, so just read the part about the debt reduction planning. It's not too difficult.